Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show. With me this week, I have GM of Team Rocket, Kyle,
Hello, hello.
current Caucasaurus holder. Um, I don't think he can show it to you right now. It's put away, if you know what I mean. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I can't have it out of my pants all the time.
Welcome to this week's show, guys. We had a great week of results to go over, and I'm excited to get right into this. I've been waiting all week to gloat about this. As you know, I have a long-standing bet with Sean. And this week he is Shane's bitch after being defeated 10-4. The team Ramrod. What happened here, buddy?
Just domination, and end to your losing ways against Sean. Congratulations on ending that streak. It must feel good. Does it feel
Does
good?
feel good. Does. What's better is that it was like Wednesday, and he's like, "Should I just change my name now?" No, I didn't want to get ahead of myself, but once Saturday came along, he gave me an extra day with it. What a guy! What a sport! You know,
Yeah, what a gentleman.
what a good sport about it. I've he's beat me many times in this bet, and then he even gives me an extra day when I beat him. Uh this is probably the sign for him to kind of maybe start the rebuild, or you're gonna be Shane's bitch for a long time, buddy.
Indeed, indeed.
Tage against the machine, taken down. Doll try the beef, 7-5. What happened here?
Um, I guess Travis was saying that Daltrey on a couple of occasions this week didn't properly set up his lineup, and it cost him the week again. And I think that makes it like 2 weeks in a row. But like even looking at Travis' numbers, Travis has some phenomenal numbers this week. A 953 save percentage. Like who does that, right? Like,
Who on his team is doing
well,
that? Who are these goalies that are getting good starts?
and I'm playing Travis this week, and I'm like, he doesn't have elite goalies, but he's putting up these crazy numbers lately. And Travis is a force to be reckoned with. But again, Daltrey is what, 12th place? He shouldn't be 12th place.
No.
Not like Daltrey has a good team, and the only reason he's not in like fourth or fifth is because Daltrey is being Daltrey and not setting his lineup all the time.
Find it's just I think he has a hard time focusing on this, right? But like you spend 5 minutes a day taking a look at your lineup. I mean, for the amount of money that you could win and the pride at stake, like to me, it's worth the 5 minutes a day. Like,
Yeah. And I think like most of us are having fun, like with the amount of time that we invest in this versus the money that's on the line, it's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like, we put in our fantasy football bets, you put your $100 in, and like that's once a week for 16 weeks, maybe
yeah,
17 weeks, right? It's not that onerous, but hockey is like every day for like 6 months,
you got
right?
25 weeks.
Something like that,
If you
right?
make it all the way to the finals,
Yeah, which, only a few of us have done. I say us, but I'm not amongst those people. Uh, but yeah, we do invest a lot of time in this, and for not a lot of money, but we do this for fun and for pride and uh, I don't know, just invest a little more time and you'll see better results, I
five
think.
minutes a day, just like, are my goalies playing tonight? Should I switch that around?
Yeah,
Like that's all. Like that's all it would take, and Daltrey would probably be a force instead of a farce. Like,
exactly.
we just suck taking a loss, 12-2 against Downhill. Even though we beat Case, he still sees it as going downhill. He's not ready to say that he's going up the hill yet. What happened here?
Well, he can't change his name yet because he just beat somebody whose name is We Just Suck. So, you know, he's just not ready yet. Uh, Casey had a subpar week and Corey had a decent week, and a decent week will beat a subpar week any day.
Yeah, like I'm not surprised with this result. In fact, we both predicted that. Fun. fact for the week before I forget to mention it. We both went 5 for 8 on predictions.
Oh, nice.
We both clearly got the tie wrong, which we'll go over shortly. But
Yeah.
forgot about Dre continuing his winning ways. 9-4 defeat over Captain Crunch. What happened here? No Domo magic.
No, I mean, Nick's players just dominated him. Domo got some good outings from his goalies, and that's where he got the majority of his score. But Dre's team is just overpowering.
We'll see about that this week, Dre. But
Yeah.
the Braden bye week lives on barely, but somehow the dumpster fire managed to outperform Wild Husky hockey. What happened here?
I'm going to take credit for this win. I feel like he won because of me, and I helped him out on Sunday.
Oh,
Um, yeah, like he would have gotten a tie at best had I not sent him Reimer. Uh, I had picked up a Reimer for my week just in case the day before. I had Neil pick him up. We did a little trade, and because it wasn't looking good for me. And I mean, we'll get into that, a bit later, but it wasn't looking good for me. But then my fortunes changed. So then I'm like, I don't need Reimer anymore. And Mark came inquiring. Uh, and this way, Mark got both goalies in the game. And this allowed him to flip saves and it allowed him to, I believe, tie and wins, right? And Reimer gave him the tie and wins. Otherwise, this would have been a tied week for Braden. He would have flipped the saves anyway because he was only like 9 saves behind with the other goalie. He would have been fine that way, but without Reimer, would have been a tie against the Braden bye week.
yeah, that one person
No,
did it, though. One person did it. Let's
who
get,
who did it?
I don't remember. We
How
can do research.
embarrassing.
We have a stat guy for this. Stat guy, get back to us, please. I want to say it was
Could
Derek. I feel like it was Derek.
have been. He's got 2 ties.
Stat guy will find out. Mentally bedarded, taking it to stat guy. I mean, Sorokin these nuts. 11-3 here. What happened here?
Yeah, I think that's one of the predictions I got right. Um, Kyle had a great week. He put up good player numbers. His goalies, 5 wins, 930 save percentage, 186 saves. Kyle, like 14 goals, 20 assists, plus 31, 28 PIMs, 108 shots. He just had a phenomenal week. And Neil just didn't have a chance.
So like this is the week that Kyle needed to kind of get back into it. He's been on a little bit of a slump there. Um, Luckily for him, we're going back to the start of the rotation soon, where he found a lot of success against those teams. So could be still a playoff team in a few weeks, right? So big
Yeah.
win for him, big loss for Neil. Hatches and Team Rocket tied at 7. What happened here?
Yeah, so this is my second time in a row. Um, at the beginning of the week, like goaltending wise, he got a shutout. He was just dominating me that way, and it 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 looked like I had no hope at all this week. Um, but my goaltending did well enough to keep me competitive. But I was still anticipating to lose this week because I'm probably not gonna overturn GAA and save percentage. But I felt like he made a mistake on Saturday night. Uh, he
Oh yeah.
benched Ingram, who they're playing Minnesota, who's like one of the, they're not a playoff team, and he kept his other 2 goalies in who were playing top teams, playoff teams. And I felt like that was a mistake. Like you want to put your goalie in who's playing a non-playoff team. You have Georgiev going into Toronto, and Toronto's a high-scoring team. I, I wouldn't have started Georgiev against Toronto. Like I would have put Ingram in against Minnesota, personally speaking. Um,
Play that matchup. You got to play that matchup. Like,
you got to play the matchup. He didn't play the matchup, and it cost him because Ingram ended up with getting a 6-0 shutout.
oh
That
yeah,
would have that would have ended me right then and there. But the other two goalies let in enough goals that I managed to beat him on GAA by .01.
No.
And like I barely beat him in save percentage. Like my goalies had a good week, but it just he he needed that second shutout to secure those stats essentially, and that led us to the tie. Sunday was a tight one. He needed a power play point. I needed a couple of hits. Neither one of us got what we wanted. Um, uh, I felt like I should have won the week, but by the same token, I kind of got lucky that he benched the wrong goalie, so you got to take the tie in that kind of situation. It was a good week for both of us. Um, you know, uh, we both kind of missed out on an opportunity here, but more so Patches, like he should have had this week wrapped up.
Yeah, I hope he's kicking himself for that. But it's a good big outcome for you, picking up a point where you probably shouldn't have. But yeah, that's good. So that should be a drink. Losing to fantasy football is over. Derek, maybe a little more focused this week. What happened here?
Um, yeah, Derek had some good player stats: 13 goals, 26 assists, plus 12. He got a shorty, three game-winning goals. Um, and he took a couple goalie stats. Uh, Goalie stats he probably had no business taking, but Dan's goaltending is just horrendous. So this was just kind of a subpar week for Dan. And I've talked about it in recent weeks about him. I think that's like the key that's missing on his team. But yeah, Derek had a good player week, and then goalie wise, it's not so much that Derek did good, it's just Dan did really badly.
I think what you said is key. We all know that's the weakness on his team. His team is great. If he had goaltending, he'd be like a serious threat, a serious contender. He already is a contender, right?
Yeah.
But I think he'd just be more of a threat with some goaltending back there. But yeah, big win for Derek. Kind of start climbing closer out of the basement. I'm considering him the basement because Braden doesn't even count. So yeah, it was an interesting week. Some interesting results. Some I'm very happy about. Sean, quiet though for trades. As I reviewed this quickly earlier, I'm pretty sure they're all just Saturday and Sunday trades for either a player straight up or a 1 round draft pick. Oh, that's not true. There's one here that wasn't that. It's your William Carlson trade.
Oh no, that was like
Well, that
that was a
was.
Saturday Sunday because like I was just dropping him.
I was looking at the 18 here. No, it doesn't go together. It's all just one round pick upgrades.
So that actually, let's talk about that for a second because that's interesting. Because Nick is keeping Willem Carson. He's a good player, but he's not gonna be back for probably another like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's not a keeper for me. I don't like dropping him like that for nothing. But the fact is I can't I can't afford that slot right now taken up when I'm trying to sneak into the playoffs here. So unfortunately, I had to cut him from the team, and he's not a player you want to cut. I paid an eighth rounder for him, and that seems like a bit of a flush. But Dre is holding on to him in his IR spot, and I assume he'll probably be like a key part of Dre's run in the season, unless he decides to drop him for whatever reason. But
He might have
yeah,
to if someone else gets injured, right? That's more valuable. Like he'll make a
yeah.
decision if that's the case. Like, can't all be like me riding two, three, four injured guys on your bench at a time.
No, no, I can't afford it. I have a lot of tough matchups, and you know that one hurt for me. That one hurt.
All right. Let's talk about this week's matchups. The Champion, 9-3-2 in second place, taking on Forgot About Dre, 10-3-1 in first place. Who do you got here?
Again, I'm picking based on how I would have picked at the beginning of the week for all of these, and I'm gonna go with Nick. I think Nick has the best team in the league, obviously, and well, and he's first place for a reason. Does that mean you're not gonna win? No, but obviously this is gonna be a close week. And first place is on the line. That's pretty exciting. I got first versus second. If you win, you're gonna be first. If Yeah, so a lot on the line here. But I'm gonna go with Nick.
I take offense to you saying he's the best team in the league, but I'll let it go. I'm going to be first place after this week. Nick has a great team. I think it's going to be a close week. Every single stat right now is within grasp of both of us. Even though it's 7-5, like all of our points could easily like flip. I just think my goaltending is going to be better. I'm not going to get more starts than his, but I'm going to get better quality, and I'm going to finish out the week and take that win and show why the champion is still at the top of his game, boys. Um, you gotta have a little more respect on the champion. You got Shane's bitch running around out here, not running his mouth anymore. Not this.
You're just laying
Uh,
the smackdown on all these people.
that's it. It's time. And the champion, like I haven't been as mouthy as I usually am, but I feel like that has to come back. Like I gotta get into
Yeah,
playoff
you got to
mode.
reassert your dominance.
That's it. I feel disrespected when I hear other people saying other teams are the best when I'm the one with the name on the trophy.
Well,
No,
he's got his name on the trophy. He's got his name on the
it
trophy.
was
It's been a
ages.
while though.
Yeah. No, Nick does have a great team. I always say it. He has one of the best keeper bases in the league. He drafts well. He manages his roster well. Um, but I'm going with Le Champion.
Fair enough.
Tage against the Machine, 9-5 in third place, taking on Team Rocket, 6-2 in 10th. Who do you have here?
Uh, I think Travis is an elite team in this league, and he's an elite for a reason. And I think he's going to take this week.
Well, I mean, I was gonna pick Travis as well, but I wasn't gonna do it just because of that. I was just, but you don't have faith in your team. I'm not gonna have faith in it, so I'm gonna go with Travis. I was going with Travis anyway. Travis's team is just it's been rolling lately. He only has 5 losses on the year, which is probably like a record for him. But yeah, he hasn't melted down. But you can tell he's itching. He just wants to make moves. Now's the time to take advantage of Travis.
Yeah, absolutely.
He hasn't really watched the show, but I hope he
Oh,
knows.
he doesn't
Thoughts
watch?
on him. I don't,
Oh,
he occasionally he watches.
oh, okay. I feel insulted.
That's why he takes shots at him because he'll be like, "Who they're talking about? Me, I need to watch." I go with TVT. Shane's bitch, 6-8 in 13th place. Oh, that's my lucky number, Sean. Uh, taking on the dumpster fire here at 6-2 in ninth. Who do you have here?
Um, Even though Mark's ahead in the standings here, I'm gonna have to go with Shane's bitch because Mark nearly lost to Braden last week, and that does not give me confidence. Like he would have tied Braden had I not intervened on his behalf. He owes me one. Mark owes me one. But I gotta go with Shane's bitch here because like if you're barely scraping by Braden, why am I gonna pick you over Sean?
That worries me that he barely scraped by um, Braden, and that's exactly why I was putting my faith in Shane's bitch this week. You know, I think his team is not great, Sean, but I think it's better than scraping by Braden.
Absolutely.
I give him some credit after taking it like a champ this week from last week. We just suck. 6-8 in 14th, taking on Captain Crunch, 7-7 in 8th place. This guy always seems to be floating around 8th place. Domo. What do you got here?
Well, with a guy whose name is We Just Suck versus a guy who's active, and that's not to say Casey's not active. Casey's doing the best he can under the circumstances. I think he's a pretty decent GM, but he just doesn't have the tools on his team. So, I know Domo has a good team, so I'm gonna have to go with Domo.
I I was going with Domo, and the only reason I like Casey's team a lot, but he has a big weakness in his goaltending, and I just know Domo is going to do whatever he can to claw out this win. Um, and that's not a knock against Casey. Casey is doing what he has to do to improve his team long term. That includes suffering without like a real star goalie yet, right? Uh, but he has those young forwards. He's got the right infrastructure. He's just missing a couple pieces, and even if one of those goalies pans out for him long term, that he has, like he has the young Buffalo goalie. Like
Yeah.
if he pans out for him, then he's in a much better spot like next year. But I don't think it's going to help him this year.
No, no, not much.
So I'll try the beef. 6-8 in 12th place, taking on Svechmi a drink 9-5 in fourth place. Who do you have here?
This is like a tough pick for me because, man, like I feel like Daltrey has one of the best teams in this league, but he keeps not setting his lineup, right? I think his team is better than Dan's, but like the question becomes like, has Daltrey set his lineup for this week? Is he like going to be monitoring? I don't know, and it's cost him a loss in the last 2 weeks. Like Daltrey should be in like fourth or fifth place this week, but instead he's in 12th because of like mismanagement.
He likes to limp his way into the playoffs,
Yeah.
and
But
he doesn't
but how
always make
does
it though. He doesn't always make it.
no, no, and like my point is that he shouldn't be limping into the playoffs this year. He's got a solid team. And I believe his team is better than Dan's. I truly believe that.
He was
Um,
confident enough to make a bet with me that his team was better than mine. That was going to finish higher than mine, and he doesn't set his lineup.
well, yeah, I he did respond a bit to us this week about the lineup situation. So I kind of feel that maybe this week he
He
might
might
be
be
more on
paying
top of it.
attention, you know.
Yeah, so I'll pick Daltrey, but Jesus, like I'm not confident in picking that, and it's not because of his team. I'm just like, is he actually going to set his lineup? I don't know, but I'll go with Daltrey.
It's going to hurt you again. Uh,
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Dan. I just think he's the more reliable, responsible GM. You heard me, Daltrey. Well, maybe you did. If you did hear me, I hope that helps and you get fired up and say, fuck that guy. But
yeah.
if not, well, that's fine. Dan gets to win. I get a point for my total here. I'm happy. Wild Husky Hockey, 0-13-1. Neil at 7-6-1. Sorokin these nuts. Big matchup for him after a big loss last week, getting beat down. What better cure than a nice Braden bye week here? Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean you can't pick Braden, so obviously Neil.
You
And
could.
it's probably the week that Neil needs because he's had a couple of rough weeks, so could be the beginning of a rebound for him.
No, I hope so. I don't want to see Braden get a win. Um, then maybe really does some like soul searching in this league and be like, what am I doing? Like if again, it goes back to you can't spend 5 minutes a day at like I don't know 5-6 p.m. Take 5 minutes to yourself and be like, okay, what goalies are starting? Let me set my lineup for today. Like
Yeah,
that's not a lot to ask. But until you start doing that, you're not going to be competitive in this league. You got about 10 GMs who are always on this, and you got the others who are in and out, right? They do what they're supposed to do. They're present, but they're not present like the core.
yeah, yeah. That's it.
And they're the ones who find success. They be present. Mentally bedarded, 7-7 in seventh place after his big win on Neil. He's taking on Pacioretty and Rumble, probably the oldest name in the league. Uh, well, Team Ramrod probably, but 6-7-1 in 11th place. Who do you got here?
That's another one for the stat guy. That's a good question. Actually, I think Patches is maybe a little bit older than yours, but I don't know. You tell us, Neil. Um, Having just played Patches and knowing how good his team is, I just like Patches' team better. So, I did pick Kyle to win last week against Neil, and that was a pretty big win for him. And Kyle has a good team. Do I think he puts up those same numbers 2 weeks in a row? No, no. He had a phenomenal week last week. I think he's going to come down to earth a little bit this week, and I just think Patches has a bit better of a team.
I'm gonna go with Patches as well. Yes, Kyle has more points in the standings, but I just like Patches' team uh, a little bit better. It's nothing against yours, Kyle. Again, I talk about this every week. You've done a phenomenal job turning your team around. But I just think Patches is a little more there than yours at this point in time.
Yeah,
So
he's got
I'm going
three
with him.
starting goalies, right? And he's dominant on goaltending statistics, and he's got a decent player core. Like, uh, I've been saying this for a while. Like, I feel like Patches has been unlucky this season. He's put up some good weeks where he's lost to teams. He ran into a bunch of hot teams this year, and I expect to see him in the playoffs because I don't think that bad luck will hold out for him. It could, but never know.
I hope to see him in the playoffs because the last couple times I just dominated him in the playoffs. I hope to see you there, buddy. Uh, Downhill, 8-6 in fifth place, taking on fantasy football is over. 4 8-2 in 15th. Who do you have here?
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a close matchup. Corey obviously has a better record. Um, but Derek has a good team. Um, but I'd like to see Derek start selling this week. And he said he would sell, and I'd like to see some of the action. So I'm gonna pick Corey to win so we can finally get our real first seller of the year. Get this other than Braden, this is pretty much a record for this week to not have a seller by now.
Mark sold.
Oh, I guess, but he kind of rebuilt with it too a little
He
bit.
retooled, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like a complete sell-off. It was like a partial sell-off, I think.
I'm gonna go with Corey as well. I just think his team's better right now, but he's more focused. But Derek might prove me wrong. I didn't think he'd win last week, and he came out and won. If he pulls out a big win this week, all of a sudden he's right back in this. Um, so yeah, but I don't think I think he has a good chance this week. But I think in the end Corey's team's better. I'm gonna give him my vote of confidence this week. This will be interesting though next week because then we'll be through the first rotation. Everyone's
Yeah.
played everyone, and then we'll have a better idea of kind of where everyone stands. Um, I find that's the perfect place to see where you stand in the league because you played everyone once, not I'll get in like a strong matchup a couple times and help determine that, right? So for this point, especially with no sellers, like it'll be interesting. Maybe that'll convince people like maybe I need to get off this ship here right now.
Yeah. I know, like, personally speaking, like, I'm expecting to lose this week. I could pull a win or maybe like tie for a third week in a row. Who knows? Uh, but like, I play Dan next week. And if I lose against Dan, I'm probably gonna sell because that'll put me in a position where I have maybe 6 or 7 weeks left. Let's see, a week 16, so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, 6 weeks left. And I estimate that I have to win 5 of those 6 weeks to make the playoffs if I lose the next 2 weeks. And that's a pretty tall order, you know?
Yeah.
So I think if I don't get a win in at least one win in this week or next week, I'm going to be a seller.
You guys heard it. Beat Bergeron, and he'll sell you his guys.
Yes, sir.
He won't discriminate. Business is business.
To the highest bidders.
That's it. There'll be some other GMs might benefit from taking a look at that, the standings like that. Realistically, what's it going to take for me to get in? Because then, you know what? Maybe you start selling, but you don't give up completely. You start selling some pieces off, get some draft picks, some good players, and kind of get back into it?
When is the trade deadline?
Oh, I want to say it's in February, like around the 20th. Let me
Hmm.
tell you here.
But yeah, let's figure this out.
Wait 1 second. Probably a little more than 1 second.
Yeah, no, no, all good here.
Tools, league
So
setting.
if I do sell
February
Nico,
21st.
oh wow, okay, so we still have another month.
Yeah. But
So you
February
heard it.
21st is the trade deadline for us.
I'll be selling Nico Dawes, Sergei Bobrovsky, Blake Coleman. Look at Blake Coleman. He has been one of the best fantasy players this year. Phenomenal player. This guy's having like an insane season at 32 years of age. This guy's like waiver wire, but like his season is
He's got like 18
phenomenal.
goals. Like,
The amount of like he's a short-handed beast.
yeah.
Uh, and he's putting like numbers in every player categories. Those are gonna be probably like my three top ones. I might sell a few others, but like anyway, have a look. And just if I lose this week and next week, I'm for sure selling. If I win one of the next 2 weeks, then I'm gonna hang around a bit more. But we'll see. Like I do have a bit of a lighter schedule on my second time around, but like I said, if I lose the next 2 weeks, winning 5 of 6 weeks is a pretty tall order. Not impossible, but it'll be tough.
At least you have a plan. You're going in with a plan. Like this is my threshold. And once it's past there, I'm gone. Like I'm done. Drop it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the league is super competitive this year.
Hmm.
It's very tough, and I'm looking like there's no easy wins other than Braden. Like Braden is the only easy win. I do have Braden on the second go around, which is nice. I can count on that as one of the 5 wins I need,
Had some
right?
stats. Like,
Yeah, he's gonna help me pad some stats on that second go around. But I need to beat one of these key teams in order to stay alive.
well, good luck though. At least you have a plan. You know what you have to do. Now you gotta go out and make it happen, buddy.
Yeah, that's it.
And by this time next week, you'll be looking at Le Champion in first place. Um, Big matchup this week. I'm looking forward to my good friend Nick. It's gonna be a fun week. A lot of interesting scenarios, right? From that to you possibly like be on your way out to selling. Who knows about Sean? He's been for weeks threatening to sell, hasn't done it yet. Travis is just dying for trades. Sitting there with a lot of assets. It's interesting, interesting movement in the standings right now. I want to thank you, buddy, for joining me.
My pleasure.
It's
Thanks for
good.
having me.
Good time. Always talk hockey. Um, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck to everyone. Except for you, Nick. Fuck you, bud.